Okay, so you wanted to take a deep dive into this whole poor versus rich mindset thing. And honestly, it's a fascinating topic. We've got this really interesting summary
Yeah,
that we're going to kind of like break down. And I think you'll find some surprising points here.
absolutely.
I have to admit, right off the bat, these labels always throw me off a little bit. Poor mindset, rich mindset.
Yeah.
It just feels,
A little judgy.
yeah, a little judgy, right?
Yeah.
Like, are we just slapping labels on people?
Yeah. No, I totally get that. And, it's important to keep in mind that these are really generalizations,
Right.
not like fixed categories that people fall into. But by looking at these kind of contrasting mindsets, we
Yeah.
can learn a lot about how different approaches to life can really shape the outcomes that we see.
Okay, so the very first thing this summary jumps into is action, or actually inaction.
Okay.
It says that the poor mindset tends to default to procrastination,
Hmm.
while the rich mindset is all about taking charge. And it's almost like that initial spark
Yeah.
determines this whole trajectory,
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. There's definitely a strong connection there.
Right.
This idea that being proactive, taking initiative,
Yeah.
it often comes from this underlying belief that you have agency, like the power to actually influence your own life.
Mhm.
And that belief, that can-do spirit, is incredibly powerful.
So I'm picturing like one person hitting the snooze button and the other person leaping out of bed ready to tackle their goals.
Exactly.
But for those of us who maybe, we aspire to be that second person, but we struggle with that initial push, what's the secret?
That's where it's so important to understand those deeper beliefs, right?
Hmm.
If you have more of that poor mindset, you might look at obstacles and see them as insurmountable, like, I can't do this.
Right.
And that leads to inaction.
You just give up.
Right. But with a richer mindset, you're focused on solutions. You
Mhm.
break those challenges down into smaller steps that feel manageable.
It's less I can't and more like how can I? I like that. That's a good reframing. Okay, so
Yeah.
next up, this is like classic, right? Pessimism versus optimism.
Yeah.
But, sometimes life just throws some serious curveballs.
Yeah, it does.
So is it really as simple as just slapping on those rose-colored glasses and pretending that everything's perfect?
No, definitely not. It's not about ignoring the problems.
Right.
It's more about approaching them in a way that is constructive and solution-oriented. So having a rich mindset acknowledges that, yeah, there are challenges,
Yeah.
but you focus on what can be controlled. And just as importantly, you emphasize living in the present moment, right? Not dwelling on past regrets or mistakes.
So less woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Exactly.
Or what can I do right now?
Exactly. It's taking ownership of this moment.
Yeah.
And that's where the power comes from. It's that shift from feeling powerless to feeling empowered.
It's funny how this whole continuous learning thing has become almost like a cliche, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's always saying it.
Yeah.
But this summary puts it directly in the rich mindset camp. So is it really that important?
Oh, I think it is absolutely foundational.
Really?
Yeah, a rich mindset sees learning not as this chore, but as an investment.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you want to increase your earning potential. Right. You could take a course on negotiation, or you could learn a new skill to do some freelancing, right? And that knowledge then directly translates into tangible benefits in your life.
So it's not just like hoarding trivia.
Right.
It's about being able to apply it to your actual life.
Exactly.
I got it. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so let's talk about obstacles because that's kind of how we determine our mindset too, right?
Oh, for sure.
And the summary here, it kind of paints this picture of like one side crumbles and the other one sees opportunity. Is that a little bit oversimplified or is there some truth to that?
Well, I think it highlights a really crucial difference in how people perceive things, right?
Okay.
So with a poor mindset, you might see a setback, and it's like a sign of personal failure, I messed up. I'm not good at this.
You take it personally?
Yeah, but with a richer mindset, you reframe that as valuable feedback. Like, okay, this didn't go as planned. What can I learn from this? It's a chance to analyze, adapt, and ultimately, grow from that experience.
So failure then becomes like a stepping stone, not a roadblock.
Exactly.
Powerful. Okay, so now we got to talk about the elephant in the room, money.
Ah, yes.
No surprise, financial discipline. It's like a hallmark of the rich mindset, right?
Mhm.
But I'm curious, is it just about being super frugal or is there like a deeper philosophy at play here?
I think it's less about pinching pennies and more about making sure that your spending is aligned with your values and your long-term goals.
Okay.
So, for example, let's say you impulsively buy this fancy gadget.
Ooh, guilty.
Right. but then later you struggle to pay your bills. A richer mindset would prioritize investing in something that's going to have more lasting value, maybe taking that course to advance your career, or even just getting that gym membership to improve your health.
So it's about playing the long game,
Yes,
making choices that support your overall well-being.
that's not just instant gratification.
Yes.
This last contrast in this summary, it's really interesting, and honestly, it's kind of unsettling.
Okay.
It says a poor mindset views successful people with envy, even going so far as to label them evil,
Wow.
while a rich mindset sees them as a source of inspiration.
Yeah.
Why such extremes?
It's all about perspective, right?
Yeah.
Envy kind of sees success as this zero-sum game, where
Yeah.
if somebody else is winning, it means that you are losing.
Mm-hmm.
But a richer mindset recognizes that success is something you can learn from.
Okay.
It's not about blind hero worship,
Yes.
but finding those role models who embody the qualities that you admire and then figuring out how did they do it.
So instead of tearing other people down, you're studying their blueprint
Exactly.
to see, okay, what are those actionable steps that I can take?
Exactly.
I like that. That's much more empowering. Okay, so zooming out, looking at the big picture,
Yeah.
it seems like this whole idea of a rich mindset is about taking action, focusing on solutions, embracing continuous learning. Mm-hmm.
And really believing that success is something that can be attained through effort and perseverance.
I love that.
It's heavy stuff, but super inspiring. There's one thing that I was thinking about, though, that the summary didn't really touch on.
Okay.
Are these mindsets fixed, or can we actually change our mindset?
That's a great question. I believe it's a combination of nature and nurture, right? We might have certain predispositions,
Yeah.
but our choices and our experiences play a huge role in shaping those mindsets.
Or what's something practical someone can do, like today, to start shifting their mindset?
A simple but really powerful practice is cultivating gratitude.
Okay.
Taking a few moments each day to appreciate the good things in your life, both big and small, it can have a profound impact on your overall outlook.
That's such a great actionable tip. So for everyone listening, think about one area of your life where you can apply one of these rich mindset principles today. Maybe it's tackling that project you've been putting off or finally signing up for that online course you've been thinking about taking. Every small step counts.
I love it.
Thanks for joining me today. This was awesome.
This was fun. Thanks for having me.
And to everyone listening, thanks for tuning in to this deep dive, and we'll see you next time.